When you think of the world's most dangerous jobs, you probably think of things like coal mining, oil rigging, or being a tiger handler at the circus. But nobody seems to be talking about the toughest job in the world, stand-up comedy.
What's going on, party people? How are y'all doing?
Comedians are currently under attack, and I'm not talking about the same stuff that Elon Musk and Jordan Peterson pulling out of like, oh, the woke mind virus has ruined our generation. No, I'm talking about being physically attacked on stage. Now, sometimes this is justified, right? Sometimes a comedian says something that's out of pocket, maybe a little bit racist, and they deserve to be slapped. But I feel like ever since Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock at the Oscars, it has now left a precedent online of like, hey, if you go to a comedy show and you don't like it, instead of getting a refund, you can just get on stage and rumble with the comedian. Talk about getting your money's worth at a live show. You know the famous saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That doesn't apply to some people when they go to comedy shows. And today, I want to explore that. So I went ahead and did what most chronically online people do, and that is find videos online of comedians getting attacked on stage across the globe. And before we get into this video, press subscribe, because for every subscriber we get, somewhere in the world, a drunk uncle who thinks they're a comedian gets slapped for saying something racist at the family function.
Oh, you're so pretty. What's your name? Rachel. Rachel. Are you with George?
Yeah.
Oh, you should not be with him. You should be with me. I love you long time. Come for the seminar! Man, you're so pretty. Oh, me so horny. Me so horny. Oh,
I know exactly what's happening here. This is the drunk uncle at the function, right? This completely embodies that type of personality. I am praying that this guy is not white. But just judging by his hairline and his persona, there's a good chance that this guy is white. I will say, I am on the audience member side for this situation, and that might be a continuation theme in this video. We don't know yet. This guy clearly has watched all those like crowd work comedians, you know, Matt Rife and all these other ones that have gone viral online, and he was like, all right, I see you. I'm going to make it even more extreme because I know how to get a viral clip. And he got that, along with a broken pelvis.
You can turn to page 85. It turns out I fucked your mother. And you don't want to know what she whispered in my ear.
mother's dead one.
Whoa. Mother nice guy.
I swear, each of these videos, there's just so much to unpack here. This is another classic video that made the rounds years ago. Basically, this comedian is doing a whole bunch of your mom jokes to a guy whose mom just died, and he proceeds to just throw a glass at the comedian. First of all, the sound the comedian makes lives in my head rent-free. And secondly, the other audience member that's just like, why don't you shut the hell up next time? Iconic, okay? Protect that woman at all costs. For those who don't know, I also have a dead mom, and I would say a lot of my set kind of revolves around that. And if you want to see that set, come see me in a show sometime around Vancouver. But there are times when I do talk about like my dead mom on stage. I do worry that someone has just lost their parent and they are with their friends, and their friends are like, oh, we should go to a comedy show. That'll make you feel better. Yeah, don't do that in case shit like this happens, okay? I remember this one time I set up this bit and I was like, oh yeah, my mom's dead, blah, blah, blah. And I heard in the crowd someone just go, aww. Look, I appreciate your sympathy, but it happened almost 20 years ago, okay? I've moved on.
You got a cat or a pet or anything?
I have a cat, yeah.
We can talk about your cat. We can talk about my plans for the garden. You know what I mean? Like we go to B&Q. I was gonna get some hostas and line the fence with it and shit like that. How about you put some cream cheese on that banana bread? That's how I feel about you.
Oh man, does she have to do that?
Oh my god. Yo, when your friends call you out at the comedy show, you're 100% in the wrong. Man, did she have to do that? That's so funny. That's crazy. This is like crowd work going wrong very unexpectedly, because even the comedian's blindsided by it. He's like, what the fuck? I was just chopping it up with you, and then all of a sudden this is what you do? Like, I can see how crowd work can rub a crowd wrong sometimes, but this is insane. Like, you're going to a comedy show And if a comedian talks to you, look, if you don't want to be involved, just shut it down as quickly as you can, all right? And most of the time, the comedian will move on because they're like, well, I'm not getting anything out of you. This person was like, if this comedian even looks at me, I'm making primetime news tomorrow. I know there's a lot of discourse online about, oh, don't go to a comedy show if you're so easily offended. I think that is for comedians who just love to say racist shit, and they're like, you didn't laugh at my racist, misogynistic jokes, then you're the problem. But I'll say in most scenarios, if you're going to a comedy show, just relax and have a good time. Sure, they might say some stuff that you might not exactly agree with or whatnot, but at the end of the day, we're all there just to try and make people laugh. Unless you're the drunk uncle at the function, okay? They're not there to make you laugh. At this point, this video is just me trying to be like, hey, I'm a comedian, but I'm not racist. I swear to God.
That's what we call improv here.
Big props to this comedian just to kind of keep going with the bit and be like, all right, whatever, it happened, let's move on. You know, it's like he's halfway through his 10-minute set and he's like, well, I'm just gonna have to do it soaked in beer.
Oh, that's right. I told everybody not to fucking give your fat ass any. You haven't had to try any, have you? No, that's fucking right. And fucking Rob out west told you not to fuck.
Okay, this is the second time that I'm gonna say the audience member was justified getting on the stage and throwing hands. I think this guy isn't a comedian. He's just someone that wants to fight somebody in public. And he's like, well, if I'm being a comedian and I just get really angry at a crowd member, then it's justified, right? This is like, people will be on my side for it. I don't think they know that this is not how that works. Again, this is Comedy 101, and here is the second lesson. Never turn on the crowd. I've seen this before, you know, comedians that aren't doing too well on stage, bombing, as we say in the business, and they'll throw some shade at the audience, like real quick. Don't do that at all, because if you're already losing, alienating your crowd is a good way to keep losing that battle. And this is the ultimate way to lose that battle. If you instigate a fight with an audience member and you're surprised that they jump on stage to throw hands with you, you can't act surprised. Okay, there is a lot to unpack here. First of all, this is prehistoric. We can all agree on that. This is analog Matt Rife crowd work comedy. I'm just laughing at the fact that the dude was on stage in 1 second and then the other second he was out of frame. Like, props to the other guy. He's strong as shit to push a comedian off like that. But this is classic toxic man in crowd gets offended by anything that is targeted towards him. I've been in a somewhat similar situation. I had a show out in the suburbs in like a kind of like a hick, I would say racist area, okay? I'm not sugarcoating it anymore. I did a comedy show in a racist area. Please, I'm not a racist. And I bombed because my opening line was talking about how I'm an immigrant to Canada, but you're not angry at me because I'm white. It was funnier in my set, trust me. No one in the crowd laughed though. And there was this one motherfucker that was sitting right at the front of the stage, right? Arms crossed, deaf staring me. Longest 7 minutes of my life, because I thought that what happened in this video was going to happen to me on stage. I'm there, I'm doing my bits, I look down and I see this. I'm not afraid of most things, but when someone at the crowd gives you a look like that, clearly they want an excuse to fight you, and no one in the crowd is going to back you up, terrifying. Put me in the ring with Sean O'Malley. Over that, any day of the week. I'll go one round of Sean O'Malley, then do that shit again. Man, getting taken out and manhandled by security like that only makes the show so much better. It's like, what do you think in your mind of like, I was the alpha male, I did the right thing in that situation. The rest of the night, everyone's gonna laugh at you. You thought you were insecure before? Damn, wait till those clips pop up the next day, man. You are deleting all social media and you're fleeing the country.
So what do you do, Kyle?
He's a full-time garbage pail kid.
Kyle, over here! Kyle! Whoever's working here. Whoever, you can't let him... Don't, whoa! There you go. Yeah, he's gone. What?
Alright, we have one of the OG Kill Tonys here. I don't understand what you thought was going to happen. You know the premise of the show. If you don't know the premise of the show, comedians go up, they have like a 1-minute set, and then they get roasted by a panel of hosts. You know what's going to happen, alright? People are going to say the craziest shit at you because they're trying to get the #1 spot of like the most insults. So I don't know why you went in there thinking that everyone was going to treat you differently. Something that they say I might not agree with, but the general consensus of the show, that's what you're signing up for.
How's it going? We have Bon Jovi here. Nice to see you, sir. He gave me the finger. Nice job, dude. Way to go to a wedding wearing white shirts and white socks. That's good, sir. I can see your mammal toe from the stage. It's not good. Your band is not going to make it, sir. I'm sorry. You got to return those highlights. Oh, come on. Dude.
Fucking funny, dude. Fuck you.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Again, a lot to unpack here. Number one, you hired a stand-up comedian to your wedding? Why? Why is that on your list of vendors? I'm married, and never once in our entire time planning the wedding, I thought, oh, we should have a stand-up comedian come. Why? Why would you do that to the function? I don't even want to talk about like the guy getting angry at the comedian. I just want to wrap my head around why you would hire a comedian for your wedding. That doesn't seem like the right thing to do for a wedding. You know what? I will say at weddings, that is the one time the drunk uncle is allowed to say jokes, because the drunk uncle is actually like one of the groomsmen, and they just do really shitty comedy for their best man speech, and they just bomb the entire time. That's the only time that I will say the drunk uncle is allowed to let loose at the function.
Hey, on your phone. I'm doing my sick, you piece of shit. Took an Ambien before he sat down to eat his cheese. He fell asleep at the wheel. She was so goddamn... We're so important that you can't pay attention to my jokes. Playing a game, huh? Game over, shithead. Alright, y'all been great. I'm gonna get out of here.
I'm gonna set the scene here. This is what most open mics are, right? You're performing comedy to a bunch of people who simply just don't want comedy performed onto them unless they've paid to be there. A lot of open mics are done at bars and places where people don't really have to pay to get in, so most of the time it's just regular people who just want to have like a normal night in. First of all, this dude's fit. Fire. Who is your wardrobe assistant? I want to know. Secondly, if you want to know how most open mics go, this is basically it. Right? No one's really there, no one's really laughing at your bits, and you're just struggling to get through your bits. Lastly, don't turn on the crowd, because this is what you put yourself at risk at. One time I was doing a bit about the whole Kendrick and Drake beef, and in the middle of it, someone's phone went off, and I was like, uh-oh, that's Drake. He heard me talking shit on Canadian soil, and he was like, I'm gonna kill this guy. But hey, if people are sitting there and they want to play Subway Surfer during your set, just fucking let them do it. Okay, and for that, I think that's going to be enough exploring the world of comedians getting attacked on stage. I have left this video being more fearful for my life, and I might need to hire security guards next time I perform at a show. If you want to come see me perform, follow me on socials. I'll be posting there anytime that I perform around the greater Vancouver area. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and for the love of God, do not attack a comedian on stage.